Every day when I wake up in the morning is a new day with new possibilities. Some days I wake up and things are looking really good, and some days I wake up and things are really tough. On average, I set my alarm about 40 minutes before I actually have to get out of bed so that I can start moving. First, it's trying to get my eyes open and keep them open. And then it's trying to move my arms and shoulders a little bit, move my legs around a little bit. So it takes me about 45 minutes to get my body to be movable, which doesn't help when you have to go to the bathroom. So
I don't know how Hadley does what she does. She told me once, I think she spent like 90-something% of her time in bed, which is why it's so astounding that she's done the most extraordinary things.
I have less mobility to do things I used to do. So even though those things have changed, the passion to create will never change. I don't think that I will breathe a day of my life where that passion doesn't exist. In 2009, I was almost 33, and I started having my first symptoms that led me to a doctor. And I had some back pain and some numbness and tingling in my hands when I was trying to work. And then after seeing a lack of arm swing on one side, my neurologist said, "I think we're going about this the wrong way. I think this looks more like Parkinson's." My official diagnosis came from Portland, Oregon, and I was really energized to know what I had, and I was energized by all the resources they shared with me.
Hadley was so excited when she got diagnosed with Parkinson's because it wasn't a deadly disease, and she just zipped right into action.
So when I came back to Montana, I thought, all right, I'm going to see what's available in Montana. And as soon as I came back and I started making calls, I realized there really wasn't anything.
So I think within months of being diagnosed with Parkinson's, Hadley founded Summit for Parkinson's, which is a nonprofit in Montana, which offers resources to people with Parkinson's disease. And it's the only organization of its kind in the state.
Hello, everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and get started, if that's okay with you. I'd like to welcome you this morning to the 2022 Summit for Parkinson's Autumn Conference. I have a drive beyond the arts. I have a drive to help other people beyond what I am personally doing. I don't have to move much to work in this size, which is good. I've modified how I work. So I have a hospital bed that I use now, but I have a lot of tools around me that allow me to work from bed.
I'm still amazed that she is painting from her bed for her gallery shows. That is just amazing.
We can still do all these things even when we're dealing with hard times.
She gets things done and she does them beautifully, but I think her mural painting is probably the most astonishing of all. When Hadley got the commission for the History of Women in Montana murals at the State House, I was very nervous that this would ruin her health and that she wouldn't make it. I wasn't so worried about the murals, but I was really worried about Hadley.
I was fainting a lot. I was falling early and I had balance problems, and then the medication stopped working and I kept having to increase it more and more, and that was unusual. We did a bunch of brain scans and they were on the fence.
In the 2 years that she was trying to get a diagnosis, this is the list of things she was diagnosed with. Parkinson's disease, possible multiple system atrophy, Parkinson's disease, primary lateral sclerosis, probable multiple system atrophy, possible functional movement disorder, upper motor neuron syndrome of undetermined etiology, and finally, multiple system atrophy. So she even went to the Mayo Clinic for a 12-day evaluation, and it was over Thanksgiving, and Hadley didn't want her husband John or her mom to come until after the holiday. So I went out to be with her for a few days to keep her company. In the last 2 days I was there, we saw one of the neurologists that she'd seen at the beginning of her visit, who had thought she had multiple system atrophy. That was his first best guess. But on this last visit with him, he said, "Well, I can sure see how you fooled all those doctors," which was just devastating to Hadley. I think she just felt like, I've come all the way out here, and it seemed like we were getting someplace, and then we went no place. And, what did I do all this for?
I would say the comment, "I can sure see how you fooled all your doctors," stuck with me all these years, and it was the huge reason for my doubt, not knowing what I had and people telling me that it was in my head or get stronger, it's not as bad as you think it is. This destroyed me. I was at my lowest point in my life.
The unveiling ceremony was so fantastic. There were, state senators and representatives there, and she made it, like she always does.
I had a pretty rough year last year because I wasn't able to swallow enough to keep my body weight up. I went from 125 pounds down to my lowest of 96 pounds.
They decided to put in a feeding tube, and the G tube was in her stomach muscles and they were not having it, and it caused her tremendous pain.
There were times when they weren't sure that I would actually be able to get enough nutrition to move forward, and I thought this could be the end of my life. There were times when I thought, I don't know if I can handle this pain anymore. There were times when I thought, is this going to be my day-to-day feeling and what I go through, and is this worth it to myself and to my family to experience me in this manner? And I remember thinking a few of those times, maybe this is not going to work out any longer. Within the last year, I approached the school with a new idea in mind, and I said, how would you feel if I hired a team of artists that I direct to try to help finish these murals?
So Lily, here's what we're going to do.
And they thought that was a great idea. So I hired 3 artists, and we've been working for the past 6 months trying to get the murals completed. This underneath is all the way across,
like
and
that.
it's the edges of the bricks. It looks great. I'm gonna go back and look at it. So it's an exciting thing to see. I've been able to work on some of the parts that I can reach, but mostly I have been able to transfer my creative energy into a mentoring process and able to accomplish the same goals.
I've never really met anyone quite like her. She has quite a life story, and it's still going on.
I realize that no matter where I am to the last day, that I have no reservations that I will be able to keep moving forward and adapting and doing things the rest of my life.